Hey guys, this is a Chin and Just Sewing space where you and I learn to and style the wardrobe of our dreams, and we are sewing these. We've been sewing up these pants. I've shown you guys how to sew on a fly front or a lapped zipper. Okay, then I also showed you guys how to sew on a bias bound waistband. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys how to sew on button and buttonholes for the Pfaff Tipmatic 6122. And also I already have other videos about this sewing machine up. I've shown you guys how to select stitches, basically how to work the machine, how to thread it for single needle and twin needle with both spool pins, and how to wind the bobbin. We have 3 ways of winding the bobbin in this machine, so it's very wonderful. And yeah, I just thought I'll show you guys how to sew on button and buttonholes with that particular sewing machine. Also, I would advise that you guys turn on your post notifications, subscribe and turn on your post notifications, because we will be doing a live on how to clean and oil up the sewing machine. So just subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you know when that video goes live. Back to the topic at hand today. So this is the button I'm using, and I am quite aware, guys, that it doesn't match with the outfit, but it's the only button I had on hand. Somehow I don't buy buttons just to keep, they have to be actually serving a purpose. So my lack of wide variety of buttons. But so just from looking at it, we know that the top part of the waistband is going to have the buttonhole, while the bottom will house the button itself. Okay, now the waistband is exactly 1.5 inches. Okay, so go somewhere in the middle. I've decided where I want the button to be, maybe like 1/16 of an inch away from the edge, or 1/4 inch. Okay, and basically you just eyeball it, right? Basically enough distance, at equidistance from the top and the bottom, and it will also be nice if it doesn't fall off on this side. Okay, so right now I'm trying to get the measurements for the buttonhole. Okay, so I will just take the button, mark. You need something sharp. Mark here, mark here. Okay, then I also like to mark the top and the bottom. Okay, and my apologies if you can't see that, but this is actually something I'm going to wear. So right, so we know this is, the button is 1 inch, so the center will be 1/2 inch that way. So we will just draw a line, and this line, because this sewing machine has a 4-step buttonhole, this line helps us keep a straight line when we are sewing up the buttonhole. Okay, there. So that is the center that we are going for. Okay, let me see if I can bring you guys closer. So I don't know if that helps any, but this is the top to bottom line, this is the side to side line. Okay, so I want my buttonhole to go this way, so I will be sewing it from here to here. But just to give it some extra wiggle room, I will also add like 1/4 inch, so I will make it here actually. Okay, hope everything I'm saying makes sense. Just figure out the width of the button, like this is the center, figure out the width, then add like 1/4 inch. Okay, add 1/4 inch. So that is that for the buttonhole. We will now just measure it again to be sure. Okay, so we will now go over to the sewing machine and I will show you guys the settings that you need to make a good buttonhole on the Pfaff Tipmatic 6122. Okay guys, we are at the sewing machine, and first things first that we're going to do is change. Okay, first off, since we're doing the buttonholes, these are the only 3 stitches that matter to us, right? This one goes up, this one to the side, back down, side to side. Okay, so now first things first, we'll focus on the stitch length. And this, like if you check on the video, selecting stitches video, you see where I put it. Okay, this is the buttonhole feature. You come here, basically anything along this line from like 0 to this is good. So I put mine in the middle. I think it's fine. Okay, then stitch width, because basically we'll be going side to side, it is good to, I just put mine at 5, put the needle position in the middle. Okay, then this is another interesting feature. This is the tension dial, sorry, and this turns and there is a buttonhole. You can see a buttonhole feature there, symbol. So I just put it right there in the middle there, and all this is just so that you can sew up a good buttonhole. Now when you have done all this, be sure to test on scraps so that you can be sure you're going to sew a good buttonhole without making mistakes. We'll take up this regular presser foot, okay, and put on our buttonhole foot. Okay, now for this foot, just imagine that these markings will be on your left hand side, and it's for a simple reason, because if you put it on this side, so these markings being on your right, and okay, first of all, this doesn't work with the IDT, so you have to disengage it. Okay, so if you clip on the foot, I don't know if you can see, you can't actually sew anything, your needle is in the way. Okay, so you need to take that off and fix it this way. Sometimes I like to put in the thread in here first, because it tends to become an issue when you want to start sewing. Okay, so you clip that on. Okay, and we're almost ready. So guys, I went ahead and used a pen to draw it in, just so you guys can see. Now this is the one end and this is the other end. So like I was saying, this point here should line up with the center line that you have put, and of course your needle should go on this side. Okay, so we select our stitch, which is A at this point. So, and mind you, this part is right here at the bottom, so this should coincide with where the line will be. Then we'll put down our needle, drop down, and just for safety's sake, do a couple of turns with your hand wheel, just so that you're sure it can clear through. Okay, then we will start to sew. And you have to watch to make sure to check when it gets to the other end. And you know what, another good way to measure your buttonhole is to use these marks. Okay, so we know that my buttonhole is 1 inch and I decided to add a quarter, so we will be aiming for this. Let me turn this off so you guys can see. We will be aiming for this 4th line here. It's 1, 2, 3. This 4th line here is where our buttonhole ends. Alternatively, you could also just draw the lines out this way, because see this line I drew here, that is where the buttonhole ends. Okay, just anything that will help you so you don't sew over the line. Okay, so we're done sewing this straight line, right? Then we will now press this B, and I want you to watch there. It's going across. You just do that for just a couple of stitches, then you press C and it starts sewing back down, and you press B again, and that is it, guys. So I take out my buttonhole. Now, in my humble opinion, it's very important that both sides of a buttonhole look nice, okay? And these really do. Like, they're all flat and smooth, and let me show you guys. And the stitches are nice and flat and smooth on both ends. See that? Very, very nice. Now we need to cut this open. So, like I was saying, for the buttonhole, to open it up, I put 2 pins at the ends and stick a seam ripper down one end, and then take it straight down. Now, if you have freight check, you can use that as well, but I don't have any. So, and you have to do this very gently, because you could just rip open somewhere else on the zip. And these pins are to make sure you don't go past these ends. And trust me, I have done before. It was not funny. Okay. Let's go this way. Make sure we got there. So all in all, very nice buttonhole. And I don't mind saying it's the nicest buttonhole I've ever made. It looks so nice, fits in very easily. Okay, so now we will just sew up the button on this side. The button is very easy. We just put it in here, and remember our center line, okay, where we marked. This one was coming down, this one was going this way, so it's pretty much here. The big old dot, so you can see that here. And now we will just put this right in the middle. Okay, make sure it fits. The good thing about buttons is that if you make a mistake, you can always just take it out and fix in a new one. Okay, just because getting to the machine can be finicky, so this is what I do. Okay, all right, let's get to the machine. So we will take off this our foot, turn back our settings so So regular stitch length of 3, turn this back to 5. Okay, this will keep at 2 or 3 just till we find out how far apart we want how far apart the holes of the button are. Okay, now there's another very important thing we need to do when we're sewing on the button, which is to disengage the feed dogs. Okay, and you click this way to disengage the feed dogs, and that's because we want the machine to be in a stationary position when we are sewing on our buttonholes. We don't want it moving front to back. Okay, so now I take my button and position it in the holes that I marked. Try not to move it around too much. We will now set down the feed dogs without a sewing feet on, and try and, you know, like get it to a nice position. Okay, then now we will try and take it to the other side and see what stitch width we should use. Okay, I'm going to try 4 with this. Okay, sorry guys, I thought I was filming but I wasn't. So basically I don't even know where this cut off. So I tried stitch width of 4 before, but I didn't like the way it was, so I switched over to 5. Then you just try a couple of times with your hand wheel and see if it clears the space at all. Then if it does, then you can go on in with your foot pedal, you know, and try it a couple of times, and that's it. Do it for this side, do it for this other side. It's quite easy, really. So we will cut all of this, pull the threads on the back really tightly so that you know that everything is being knotted up nice. Okay, so we will just cut this, and this is what it looks like. If you want, you can cut off this one in the middle, but it doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so guys, this is how you sew on a button and a buttonhole for your Pfaff Tipmatic 6122. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I enjoyed doing it for you guys, and yeah, this is what it looks like. Check out the other videos on this sewing machine. We have a whole playlist. Check it out, see how you like it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.